Hi, John.
Hi, Kat. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Are you, though?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
I am. No, I'm qualifying that. You can tell by the tone.
There's some
There's
tone.
some tone.
I hear tone.
I'm great. I'm a little tired,
Okay.
but I've been told sometimes I say funny shit when I'm tired. So
Are you punchy, John?
a bit.
Okay.
Bit. I've been exterminating, and then here's the difference. Like exterminators, they kill bugs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Software developers, we make them and then we kill them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So it's like there's creation and destruction. I am both the Brahma, the Vishnu. I am all three: the Brahma, the Vishnu, and the Shiva
Damn.
of the software that I create.
Amazing.
It is, isn't it? Not.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's been a serious software development day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not saying I don't have every day is a software development day when you're someone who is as dedicated a software developer as I am. You should know many of my coworkers occasionally listen to the podcast.
I feel sorry for them.
This is for they.
That's nice.
Yes.
It's nice to have a shout out.
Yeah. Yeah, but today it's a Monday that we're recording this.
Yeah, it is a Monday.
It could be any day of the week, and maybe even who knows, in the future they might invent a new day that is not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
like
Saturday, Sunday.
Schlem Day.
It could be Schlem Day, and you're listening to it now, but for us, now on this timeline, it's Monday.
It's Monday.
And boy, is it Monday.
It's been a Monday.
It has been an entire Monday. Mm-hmm. All day. It's been Monday.
All day.
Not-
It feels like it's been all day.
Like no break. It's been consistently Monday from 12 a.m.
Yeah.
all the way until now,
Right.
which is sometime before 12 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like that anyways. I
think
don't
so.
know.
Or before 12 a.m. again, I mean, is what I mean. That's what I mean.
I knew what you meant.
Kat, did you know what I meant?
I do most of the time.
Okay, good. I think we're on the same page then, because I know what I mean most of the time too.
That's good.
There you go.
That's good, John.
51% of the time,
51%.
I know exactly what I mean. Yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
Yeah. What are we doing?
A podcast.
What's it called?
My mistake.
What's it about?
Our mistakes.
That makes sense.
I mean, come on. Throw me a hard one.
I know,
So
hold
far,
on.
these are really softballs.
Okay, let me think of a good one. Hold on.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I got one.
Yep.
What's your name?
John. And what's your name?
Oh,
See? Threw it right back at you. Bam.
Cat?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. You know what a pitchback is?
I don't.
When I was a kid, before I admitted to other people that I was not into any of the sports balls, they used to make this thing, and it was like a big metal frame that had a net in it that was very tight, and you could throw a ball at it, and it would essentially throw it back to you.
Got it.
Yeah. So that was the verbal equivalent of the pitchback.
Did you have a pitchback?
I did, because people gave me gifts that were really not meant for me.
How many times did you throw the ball at the pitchback and then it came back and hit you somewhere you didn't want it to hit? Like your head, between your legs?
I'm going to say all of the times minus the times where it missed me completely.
I see.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Uh-huh. Yep.
All right.
Yeah. Pitchback. There we go.
We have a theme,
Yes.
but before we get to that theme,
Before that.
John and I have a current event.
Oh my goodness. This is exciting because I have no idea what she's going to say.
We haven't talked about
ladies
this
and
yet.
gents. Yeah.
On the way home from work tonight,
Okay.
there was an incident.
Oh, not an accident, but an incident.
Exactly.
It's an incident. Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
I work in a place. I work on the Warner Brothers lot. Who cares?
Okay.
And so
You can say that.
we can say that, right?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I could bleep it out.
You could just say, I work on a lot founded by some brothers who were very much about alerting people to things. They were warners, if you will. Yeah, so you work on the Warner lot.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
And the way I get home,
Yes.
I turn onto Forest Lawn Drive.
Okay, there's
Okay.
a big cemetery on that.
There is.
There is.
Hollywood Hills, Forest Lawn.
Yeah, Forest Lawn Cemetery.
There's some famous people buried there.
There are.
Carrie Fisher's there.
Mm.
and her mom.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Doesn't matter. Not important to the story.
Well,
So I turn onto the street.
yes.
And as you know, John, Forest Lawn hits Barham,
It does.
which also I think becomes Olive.
and many people,
Does it become Olive? Or is it
Barham, it becomes Alameda.
Alameda.
I think.
Let's-
Alameda.
that
yeah.
sounds right.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Many people like to say Barham. And I'm like, these people, where are they from?
That's
Because
wrong.
on the East Coast, like, I mean, like if you live in Massachusetts, you know that Barham is Barham, right? Just like, Wooster is Worcester,
Okay.
right? Like it's not Worcester,
Right.
it's Worcester,
Okay.
right? So you see Barham, it's Barham. It's
Barham.
not Barham,
It's not.
but it is to a lot of people.
Those people are
But
wrong.
These people who come here, and then these people who come here from other places.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of those people are here.
Yeah, I was one of them,
Right.
and now I'm
You've
a person who frowns upon them. Yes,
You've assimilated.
I have.
So I'm going to turn right.
Yes, onto
Alameda / Barham.
right.
So because it's such a busy intersection,
Mhm.
what they've done, the city of Burbank has decided, let's make it easy on these right turn makers, right
Right.
turners.
Yeah, isn't there a whole lane for the right?
There's
turn?
a very
Yeah.
specific lane. It's its
Yeah.
own little lane. You have to yield. There's a yield sign, a little crosswalk.
Yeah.
But then once you get past the yield sign, you have your own lane.
Yeah.
You don't have to merge. You're
Right.
just like, fuck it, I'm going. You don't have
Indeed.
to give a shit.
Yeah.
So I'm approaching that lane.
Mhm.
I'm in the lane. I'm coming up to the yield sign. I notice there are 2 pedestrians standing at the crosswalk next to the yield sign.
Okay.
So as a law-abiding citizen and someone who gives a shit,
You yield.
I yielded.
I'm guessing.
I did.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I'm going to yield.
Yeah,
Even
I
though-
know you quite well.
You do. And even though I'm kind of in a rush to get home, my buddy John's coming over tonight, pizza guy's on the way, I have a lot to
Right.
do, I'm going to yield.
Yeah,
And I did.
you yield. I'm afraid right now, as so often is the case in Los Angeles, it's possible that the person
Oh?
directly behind you
What?
may not have yielded to your yielding. Is that possible?
Well, the person behind me, John,
Yes.
they started to honk.
Oh, so they at least stopped.
They did, because you can't really, they couldn't have gotten around me very easily.
Oh no, I'm thinking they went like right up the back of you is what I was thinking.
They were in a monster truck.
yeah.
No. They just started honking.
Okay.
And so they didn't see that there was a pedestrian
Right.
crossing in front of my car.
Right.
And they wouldn't have seen this person until they got to the other side.
Sure.
So anyways, the honking. And I'm like looking at this person like, are you fucking stupid? Like, why do you think I'm stopped?
Right.
And so there's something that happens, John, when I think someone else thinks that I'm stupid,
Right.
I get triggered.
Oh.
And I become very upset.
Okay.
And so as the person who is being honked at, so I'm not only am I being honked at,
Uh-huh.
the person in the crosswalk feels like she's being honked
Right.
at.
Right.
And
And may not even know whether it's you
I know, and
or the
that's
guy
also
behind. Yeah,
upsetting.
that's yeah.
So, but I think she knows. But so she just, as she steps up onto the curb, she just lets
Throws a finger.
The bird's flying.
Yeah.
And so then as she's walking, the crosswalk person is walking, I roll down my window and I point at her to say to the person behind me, hey, fucking idiot, there's a person here. Did you want me to hit her?
Uh-huh.
I'm hoping my pointing is getting all this across.
Right. but in all fairness, there's one finger that you're sticking out.
Wow.
It's a different finger,
It is.
but the vagaries of human vision.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
So then the honking stops.
Right.
And this person behind me,
Yeah.
I don't know what they're thinking.
Right.
I hope they think, oh boy, am I an idiot?
Mm.
There was a person there.
Mm-hmm.
I should not have honked.
Right.
I should have been paying attention.
Yes.
So then I proceed in my lane that I
Yep.
have the right to be in.
Of course.
And now I'm really mad. So
Fully entitled and super pissed off.
super pissed. I am amped up, John.
Yeah.
And I'm making bad decisions.
Oh, okay.
So this person who is honking behind me a second ago, they are I feel like she wants to get away from me because
I don't blame her. and I'm going to tell you why after this, but go ahead. Mhm.
So she passes me
Yeah.
and she's just playing it cool. Like
Yeah,
she's not
she's looking
she's
straight
not-
ahead.
Not engaging.
Yep.
She's
Yep.
looking ahead. While I am like, there, and at this point I'm yelling, and I'm very close to my place of work, so
Sure.
I could run into this person at some point. I don't know where this person's come from, so that's a mistake.
Right.
So as she passes me, I am yelling out the window. Her windows are up; she can't hear me.
Right.
I'm saying things like, "There was a pedestrian. Are you a fucking idiot? What did you want me to fucking like?" I am just yelling at this person.
I get it.
And she's getting over. She's going to make a left on, I think it's Lake something. It's by the smokehouse. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah, I am. Mm-hmm.
And there was a moment in my mind, it was like, I should follow her and continue to remind her that she's an idiot. But I didn't do that, John.
Good for you.
I continued on my way, very upset.
Yes.
And still yelling to myself how upset I was. I just, for some reason, it just really upsets me.
Yeah.
Like, did you want me to hit this person?
Right.
And she made a mistake. She didn't know. She probably didn't see the person, whatever.
Right.
This sort of person is the same sort of person who we live near a firehouse.
Yes.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because if there's a fire.
Then you're set, right?
Because of the way it's situated in the street, they have blocked off a section that says do not block.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So if you pull up to a light, there's a car length that can be at the light.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 or 3 car lengths that can't block that
Right.
because
those lanes have to stay back so a truck could get out.
These goddamn heroes are constantly coming in and out.
Yeah.
So inevitably,
Yeah.
I will, pull up or I'll be at the thing. Someone will just pull in and take that space.
Yep.
Like, are you a fucking idiot? And it makes me so happy when they have to come out and there's someone there. It's like, oh, I hope you feel like an idiot because you are such an idiot.
Yeah.
Why do you have to pull up?
Well, it's a thing. Now, are you, now, can I make a confession?
Please. Oh, I don't know.
I've been that person who was behind you.
Really?
I have. I go to a particular grocery store, okay? And this particular grocery store, when you come out of the parking lot,
Yes.
I have to make a left to go the way that I want to go. And I happen to be behind a person in the left turn lane. And that person, we both had our left turn signals on and we're in the left turn lane.
Okay.
And the light turns green and that person sat there.
How
Like an idiot.
How dare they?
How could you? I mean, like, this person is clearly, they don't have anybody waiting for them at home. This person's got nobody to go home to, nothing to look forward to. They're clearly just a garbage person.
They're barely
right?
a human.
They're barely a human and I can't stand them. And so I lay on the horn because I've got ice cream. Okay. I mean, come on. I need to get home and get this shit in the freezer.
I mean, come on.
Come on. And I lay on the horn. And this person becomes incensed. I mean, like,
Was it me?
It was not, but it might as well have been because
Yeah.
I could see this person gesticulating wildly. I mean,
Yeah.
just being like super offended. And it was then that the person who was in the crosswalk, who was coming through the crosswalk, and the reason why this person was not moving
Oh boy.
became visible to me because
Got
they
it.
stepped into the streetlight. Right?
Yes.
And then I totally felt like a dick. But this person was super mad and did a very similar thing, which is like, I even waved. I'm like, it's my bad, dude. Like, I get you. I feel you. I understand.
And
Yeah.
good for you for owning up to that.
Yeah, but it didn't matter. This guy was super entitled and pissed off.
It doesn't take much for me. Like, I can be like super like road rage and like
Right.
I'm so pissed at this person. And
Yeah.
if they give me just like, hey, cool, a wave, I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, no problem.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it takes.
Right. Well, and
Just own up to your dumbass.
sure. And that's like, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm an asshole. But like, here was the real thing. This was the difference between what happened and what could have happened was that this person sat behind the crosswalk of the lane that we were of the direction that we were going.
Okay.
Rather than pulling into the middle of the intersection on a green light, which is what I would always do.
Sure.
But then obviously not make the left turn until the pedestrian had made it into the second lane,
Got it.
the other side of the double yellow. But this person sat there. So I was thinking, this fucker's on his phone.
Sure.
Like that was absolutely what I was thinking.
Of course,
right?
and that happens all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
So yeah. So I mean, this is what we need. Like, we all can take a breath
Yeah.
and realize that everybody, like, there are almost no evil people in the world. Almost none.
Yeah. It's a very
Really?
low percentage.
Super low percentage. I'm going like fewer than 2%
Okay.
of people
I'll buy it.
are less than 2% of people, fewer than the people, whatever. Yeah. Less than 2% of people are actually outwardly evil.
Yeah.
Most people are trying to do the right thing. Some people are trying harder than others.
Yes.
Granted. But I don't think many people are actively trying to just like, I want
Right.
to, I want to fuck with this person.
Yeah.
Right?
I
No.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. So here's the situation. You've been the person in the front car.
Yes.
I've been the person in the car behind.
Right.
We weren't the same. It wasn't the same situation, but it might as well have been.
Right. I know you're not a bad guy.
I know you're not a bad guy, right?
Yeah.
But funny story, when you were talking about you're close to your place of work, I once got cut off by, it turns out, my boss
Oh no.
on the way to work, and I laid on the fucking horn. And this guy drove a BMW, so I don't want to say anything about that. He also ended up laying me off at one point. So
Oh, well, fuck him.
that guy hard.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Like really hard in an uncomfortable place.
Sure,
but, but it was really funny when we got to work, because here was the thing. I didn't feel bad at all for laying on the horn. I'm like, you drive like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, you're an
and
asshole.
You almost made me kill myself hitting the brakes to make sure you actually got into the lane
Jesus.
in order to make the right turn. And now I'm here and you're looking at me, and it was me in the Prius while
Yeah.
you're driving the BMW. So I ask you, who's morally superior here? Huh? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I feel like one of these days I am going to I hope it never happens, but I feel like I'm going to be so upset with someone who has honked at me.
Yep.
I'm going to get out of the car. I think about this all the time, and maybe it's more about me. But like if I'm at a red light, this happened the other day, this weekend. If I'm at a red light and there's a no right turn on red sign,
Yep.
and I'm the first car,
Yep.
I'm waiting for someone behind me to honk.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, "Why are you waiting? Just fucking go." And it's like, because I follow the rules, and there's
Right.
probably a reason, because this is a dangerous
Right.
intersection.
And sometimes they can't see the sign, or they don't see the
Right.
sign.
So
Yeah.
I've already played this out of my head, John,
Right.
where
Yeah.
I'm going to be in this situation. Someone's going to honk behind me and be like, "Why aren't you going?" You
Yeah.
know, and I'm going to get out of my car. I'm going to walk up to the sign and I'm just going to point at it.
Oh, okay. Well,
And maybe flip them off at the same time, but definitely
Right.
like, do you see the sign, you fucking
Yeah.
idiot? Yeah.
all right.
These are this is like the stuff I fantasize
No, I
about.
get you. I get you. And here's the reason you fantasize about it. Because these things haven't happened to you, or you haven't done these things that I'm about to outline really quickly.
I can't wait.
I have gotten out of my car and gone up to the car in front of me and screamed at the person in the driver's seat before.
I've never done that.
I have done that.
That's scary, John.
It is. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
I was still in my 20s.
Okay.
That doesn't excuse shit. I was a terrible, terrible person.
Got it.
But besides that,
Mm.
I've also been the guy who's sitting in my car who has the giant roided out freaking gym rat, scary as fuck dude,
Yeah.
get out and pound on the roof of my car to the point where he dented the roof of my car
That's really scary.
while I'm sitting in the car looking straight ahead.
Whoa.
Like not even making eye contact, because nothing diffuses things like not making eye contact.
Sure.
And then the third thing that I've done is actually gotten so pissed off at someone that I chased them at triple digit speeds down both surface streets and freeway to prove what point?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
also very
Yeah,
dangerous.
that was actually within the first 2 years that I moved here to LA. But I like this guy. He almost killed me. Like, I mean, it was. I came very, very close to flipping my car. While it was actually to get off of the. Oh wow, this is crazy. What's the freeway that goes east west? Just south, like. The 10.
Oh.
The 10.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
No?
it goes to Santa Monica. It goes to the beach.
Yeah, it goes Santa Monica to downtown,
Yes.
right? Like basically, yeah. So it was the exit to La Brea from the 10.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy.
Okay.
It goes in a very tight circle, so you have to slow down a lot.
I see.
This guy did not slow down a lot.
Oh.
And he almost forced me to like go like over the top divider, and I almost certainly would have been upside down
Damn.
at that point. Yeah. And so I was so angry that I'm like, you almost killed me, but you didn't quite make it. So I'm going to see what I can do about that.
I'm going to try to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is the statute of limitations has run out on this.
You're
I believe.
fine.
I think I'm
you're
okay.
Fine.
But here's the thing. Now, I am like just the placid Hindu cow on the freeway. Now, doesn't mean I'm not driving really fast,
Sure.
but I'm also very aware of what's going on around me.
Yeah.
And I also know that there are going to be idiots who are doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I just keep my distance.
Yeah.
I just stay away from them.
I feel like in my 20s,
Yep.
I was much more apt to engage in
Yeah.
road rage.
Yeah.
And the story I told you tonight was the first time I really lost my shit in a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was because it was a long day,
Mhm.
because I was maybe kind of just,
You'd already worked a full day.
yeah.
And then I'm texting you going, hey,
Well,
what are we going to do? No, I mean, this is part of it. What's our topic tonight? What are we
Right.
going to talk about? We don't have a guest. We don't have a hysterical Nestor.
Right.
It's just us.
Right.
And we've pretty much, like, we're either going to have to make some shit up or turn something into more than what it is,
Right,
which we
get
don't really
creative.
want to do.
No.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, in my 20s, I did some pretty stupid shit.
As did we all.
And
Your 20s is when you should do it, frankly.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because that's when you can kind of bounce back more.
Or maybe
Your
I feel-
bones mend a little easier.
Sure. I used to heal a lot faster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And also, you're just dumb. I feel like when
Yeah.
you're in your 20s, especially early, you're just kind of a dumb kid.
Well, okay, now I'm going to say this because I remember being in my 20s and hearing people say stuff like that
yeah.
and being like, fuck you. I'm smarter than you because you've already forgotten everything that's important, right? And I feel like it's funny in our current political climate. Like I feel like there's some of that with the Bernie bros. I want it to be made perfectly clear that I was totally feeling the burn in 2016.
Okay.
And
Noted.
Yeah, and I did that. And I'm feeling enough of it now that I might feel the same way in the end, especially in the general.
Right.
Although I like Warren in the primary.
Me
but
too.
whatever. Yeah.
Warren, all the way.
Go Warren.
2020.
Anyway, we weren't going to go there, but we
No,
did.
it's
Go
fine.
figure.
Who cares?
Um,
Nobody cares.
nobody
Doesn't
cares.
matter.
Dude, it's not like they're, Kat and John said they were going to vote this way.
Big endorsements.
I think I'll do that too. Yeah, that's going to be in the Post tomorrow morning. Kat and John, of my mistake, throw their hat into the ring for Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Yep. Tight. Anyway, yeah. So wherever I was going, it's like here's the thing: 20-something-year-olds, you're not dumb.
No,
you're not dumb.
you're not dumb.
You actually have more neuroplasticity than we do now. You can learn new stuff. Like you can actually you could change your career tomorrow if you want to.
Right, which is great.
Yeah,
I'm envious of
Yeah,
that.
it's super awesome. Here's the thing: we people who are double your age or almost, like we've just seen a lot, and we've seen a lot of we've seen a lot of big hopes and a lot of optimism
Sure.
get tossed on its ass.
And then pissed on.
Yeah, and then set on fire. 'Cause, yeah, I mean, really, like, yeah.
I can't believe we're those people now.
We totally are.
No.
We totally are.
Ugh.
And here's when I was 17, I read Ayn Rand and I was inspired. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I was.
No.
Because it's like, I was inspired. And now I look at Ayn Rand and I'm like, oh my God, she's like poison. She's like political poison.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when you're that, you're just brand new.
You're brand new. So what you think is like, you know what? I am entitled to everything. Like selfishness is good. It is good to like my own working in my own self-interest is the best thing I can do.
Yeah.
And you know, I get that. Some people like here's the thing. The real tragedy isn't that 17-year-olds who read Ayn Rand think that she's saying something profound. The real tragedy is that people don't eventually grow out of that and realize, oh my God,
Right.
objectivism is evil. Like it's basically saying that if I'm born white and privileged and rich, I'm entitled to that somehow, and I should use that for my own gain in every possible way.
Right.
You know, yeah. Anyway, this wasn't supposed to be an anti-Ayn Rand podcast.
It was not.
No, but then like, and then I did things like I really got super into Jim Morrison's poetry,
Hey, man.
which
If
You know?
you don't get into the Doors in your 20s, what are you doing?
where even are you?
Yeah, what
Like,
are you doing?
Yeah, and if you don't get back out of them in your 40s,
What are
like
you doing?
where did you get stopped? What stunted you?
Yeah,
like,
no, his shit was terrible.
I mean, no, but there is still like okay, this is funny. I'm about to demonstrate how stunted I am. There is still some of his stuff that I do like, but like so much of it was just this whole like. Okay, here's an example of a phrase of Jim Morrison poetry that I used to think was cool and now I think is actually like evil.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen, man. But what I do know is I want to get my kicks before the whole shithouse goes up in flames. Right?
That's good shit.
That feels like the alt-right. Like
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, doesn't it now?
Sure.
If you really think about it.
Yeah.
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 That's basically like I'm going to get mine and then global warming is going to burn up the world.
Right. So who fucking
But
cares?
it doesn't matter. So cuz I'm going to enjoy.
I won't be here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll have some kids anyway because somehow that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. This has been
Doors.
Yeah, the Doors. It's been rather a long
This is
prologue.
This is a big
I think.
intro.
Yeah, it is. I think it may be showing.
It's more than an intro at
It's
this
more
point.
than an intro. I think we're like quarter halfway into the podcast at this point.
This is a big chunk.
This is where we test. Is it really? Do you tune in for the subject matter, or do you tune in because you love us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't answer that.
yeah, we don't need to know.
We don't really need to.
I
need
don't
know.
want to
Yeah.
know.
No. So anyway, we did have a theme.
We
right?
did, John.
And what was that?
I don't know. What? No, we were
We were going to talk about high school.
going to talk about high school.
Yeah. Adolescence, which is funny because we were just talking about all the idealism that you have when you're in your early 20s.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about even earlier than
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And we have both told stories about being in high school.
Oh, we've told stories.
I feel like high school is a gold mine of mistakes, and that's where you make your first kind of big mistakes. Not just like, oh, I was 8 and fell off the roof.
Right.
Like, oh no, I made a decision and it was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Those
Lifelong sort of, those are mistakes that don't really, you keep with you for a long time.
Sure. And I mean, the intensity of those increases if and when you go to college because people take big risks and go way, because college is such a, like, it's sleepaway camp, but with like people who believe totally different things than your parents and your neighbors,
And drugs.
right? And there's drugs.
And lots of alcohol.
Yeah, that too. That's a drug.
It
I'll
is.
just include that in that.
Let's absolutely be honest about that.
Especially tequila. Tequila is a drug.
Sure.
Yep.
And I feel like, because of this podcast, I've been able to process some of the shit that happened in high school for me. So you know what I mean? Like, and obviously I'm still talking about high school, so I'm not over it.
Listen, high school was a long time ago. I'm still, although I'm not any longer, I really am doing the thing that I said in Chronicle of the Red Flags. If anybody asks me any questions about like my first marriage, I'll just be like, oh, you should listen to my podcast.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm doing because I don't need to talk about that anymore.
No, and we don't have to do that.
No,
And
it's
we're
all
not
out there.
going to.
No, but I think high school, I mean, Some stuff happened in junior high. I mean, I have to say, like 14 was probably, other than that period of time when I was going through, well, the initial breakup that then my ex and I got back together and then we divorced. But the first time we split up and when I was 14 are the two times where I was at like the nadir, if you will, the low point of my existence.
Okay. Wow.
Where I just felt like, why am I even here? What is my point? What is my value? How am I, yeah. 14 years old for dudes. I know it's 14. I think for women, it may be like a little bit earlier, like 13.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I went through that. Like, why am I even here? Probably like 16.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Junior high, I was okay. Like, I didn't.
Yeah.
I had friends,
mhm.
and I didn't feel isolated.
Right.
I didn't really have that kind of crisis until
high
like
school.
16. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. And I went to a 3-year high school instead of a 4-year
Yeah, we
high
just
school.
talked about that. And it kind of blew my mind a little
Yeah.
bit.
Well, and it was weird because like you think of when you're a freshman, you think, oh, that you're at the bottom of the ladder, right?
Right.
But when I was a freshman, I was at the top. Like we were the seniors of junior high, basically.
That's kind of crazy.
It is. Then you come in as a sophomore, which is when most people are already like bagging on the grade below them, and you're suddenly the bottom again. It's basically just the same as going from 8th grade to 9th grade,
Yes.
except
It's the same idea.
if you're Canadian, then you're going from grade 8 to grade 9.
Sure.
But yeah, I had a best friend in junior high. I'll go ahead. I'm going to use his real first name. His name was Tom.
Okay, Tom.
And Tom was my best friend. Like we met in 5th grade. Tom came over. We hung out all the time. I was like, I had love for Tom, who was like, he was my best friend. He was the first guy. Like I moved from Pennsylvania to Indiana, which was a pretty big cultural shift. Might not seem like it would be.
I mean, it sounds like the same place to me.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, Miss. I was born and raised in California. Yeah. But no, I mean, like in Pennsylvania, people think of Indiana as being hayseed and a bunch of farmers.
Got it.
And in the part of Indiana that I grew up in, they don't even know where Pennsylvania is. But I will tell you that Pennsylvania and Indiana are very different places.
Okay.
And I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
But this was the guy who I met, and we became really good friends. And unfortunately, when we made the transition from junior high to high school, this guy who was my best friend all of a sudden was not too cool with me because I wore Wranglers or Toughskin jeans.
Okay.
And you had to wear Levi's. And you had to, there were things that were very, very important to this dude. Like, you had to have a comb in your back pocket, and you had to feather your hair, and you had to part it down the middle because this was the time.
Okay.
It was like 1983. No, well, I'm gonna say 85.
Okay.
85. And like I didn't wear the right jeans, and I didn't have the right labels in my clothes. And also, he was an athlete. He was a wrestler. Now, he was significantly shorter than I was.
Okay.
Which never meant anything to me, but then it's easy for it not to mean anything to you when you're the tall guy because society seems to favor the tall guys.
Sure.
But like at a certain point, like this guy did that thing that seems to happen to so many people where it's like, not only was he like, he didn't want to hang out with me, but he would make fun of me to his new friends who were jocks, who were wrestlers or
Got
whatever.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we have a similar experience, at least in that regard. Maybe.
Do.
Yeah.
I was never made fun of. I was never picked on.
Oh, really?
I was just ghosted.
Well, I was ghosted, and I thought that was it. But then I would come to find out later that there was actual shit talk going on.
I mean, listen, there may have been shit talk going on. If there was, I never knew about it, and that's probably better for me.
It might be.
I guess, you know what? I could call some people right now
Mm-hmm.
and ask them, hey,
Let's do that, Kat.
were you like talking shit about me when you stopped talking to me?
Yeah.
freshman year in high school?
I remember the story of the big ghosting.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, there was one person who you seem to think might have been worried that they were going to be the person who was left out, or the person who was different, or the person who maybe didn't fit into the group as much. And maybe they chose to, like, am I misremembering this story?
No, but there was no specific person.
Oh, okay. Well, I felt like there was one person who like decided, oh, I'm gonna increase my importance in the group by belittling this other person. No, didn't happen.
You're projecting.
I'm totally remembering this.
That may have been what was happening.
That never happened to me though. Like I can't be projecting because I was never friends with the other person that Tom became friends with.
Got it.
Yeah. But I don't know. But okay, so in my case, I was ostracized because I didn't wear the right clothes. I didn't do the right things. There were like what was essentially being told to me is, these are the rules, and if you don't follow them, I can't be friends with you.
Right.
And not only can I not be friends with you, I have to ridicule you for not following those rules. And it was really tough for me because, like, when I develop a friendship or a relationship or whatever, I take it very seriously, which has not served me well in a lot of cases, but it's served me well in a few.
Okay.
The important ones. Our friendship, for example. Go figure. Yeah. But it hurt me really badly when I felt like thrown away by that.
Cast aside.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, this was the first guy to accept me when I arrived, and then to be like rejected was really bad because I had different ideas about what was important. Like,
of course.
Yeah. But I was also going through the same shit everybody else was. So I was like, oh, am I wrong? Is this not what's important? Should I make sure that mom buys me Levi's? And the funniest part about it is, if I'd asked for Levi's, my mom would have been thrilled to buy me Levi's. It was not like we were hurting for money. It was not like she wouldn't have gotten me that. And eventually she did learn that it was important to have the right labels, and she bought me the labels without me asking for them.
Oh, wow.
No, she dressed me. I was a total preppy, not because I gave a shit about that,
right? But
because, like, she would buy me that stuff, and I'm like, this is good looking stuff. I mean, like, come on, preppies looked good with the popped collars.
Yeah, of course. The double polo shirts.
I never did a double polo.
Okay.
I was never quite that douchey.
Okay.
That goes from preppy to douchey, I think. When you're doing the double popped collars on a double polo. Yeah. No,
that's legit.
No. But I would do the Guess shirt over the polo.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Like the Guess shirt only buttoned like at the navel.
Oh, nice.
And then open with the polo shirt underneath. Yeah,
nice.
I did that.
Real nice.
Yeah. And I wore Drakkar Noir while I was doing it.
Oh, God.
But I didn't wear that polo because that was for jocks.
Got it.
Yep. I was goth. There wasn't goth back then, but I was goth.
That was you, yeah.
There was actually goth, but not in Indiana.
So now that you're okay, so your story has triggered something in me.
I love when that happens.
And unfortunately, I'm not the good guy in this story.
Oh no, it's like it's almost like we're telling our traffic stories from earlier.
Kind of. We're switching positions.
Indeed.
So when I say that I was okay in junior high,
right,
because I didn't get picked on,
yep,
it's because other people were getting picked on.
Oh, and were you one of the people picking?
I hate to admit that I was.
Mm-hmm.
I was very easily swept up into the sort of the mob mentality.
Okay,
because it wasn't me being picked on.
Right.
I think I was so afraid of being singled out.
Yeah.
And I didn't know at the time. Mm-hmm. I knew that I was different, and I didn't know why.
Right.
I didn't know what it was.
But because of your awareness of your difference, you were like, oh God.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because listen, all through elementary school, you see kids who get picked on.
Sure.
And I didn't really pick on anybody in elementary school, but you see it happening, and you don't want that to be you.
No.
That's the last thing you want.
I think I would have followed in your footsteps, except I was too dumb to know how to not be the one picked on, which is to be one of the pickers.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know that you were dumb because of it. This is not a good thing. It's definitely sort of, it feels like a natural sort of defense mechanism.
Right.
But I think that is, if you're a weak-minded person, and that was me.
Well, I don't, not weak-minded, but I was super idealistic. So like, for me, like I was never going to be the one, like somehow, and you need to know at this time in my life, I was very Catholic. I was very religious.
Okay.
And I really admired Jesus.
Sure.
And felt like Jesus would never pick on somebody just to not get picked on themselves.
What would Jesus do? He
exactly.
wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do that.
No.
It's amazing how the people who seem to be talking about Jesus the loudest now are perfectly fine with the behavior of picking on other people.
Assholes.
Yep. Anyway,
Moving on.
But yeah, like so I never perceived it as like, oh, I'm going to join in the crowd and pick on that person. Now I made other mistakes that where I did join in or I engaged in behavior that like I feel like taught me lessons that are actually really good. Like if you're going to mess up, do it when you're 11 because the stakes are so low and you can just take that lesson with you well into the rest of your life.
Those stakes are low for you.
But they feel huge.
But that kid though, who got picked on, that shit probably never left him.
May not have.
And that may have shaped the person he turned into, not in a good way.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, yes, it sucks.
Listen, it sucks for him. Like that's all on me. Like I don't need sympathy for that because that's shitty.
We all shape and are shaped by our peers.
Sure.
Like and sometimes you end up shaping the people who you think are the ones who are shaping you more than they shaped you. It can happen.
Okay.
It can happen.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I know people. Well, okay. I feel like I've told a story already and you've commented on that. Could I tell another?
I would love for you to do that.
It's a weird story because it's real and real stories don't follow narrative patterns.
Okay.
Bring it. Yeah. In my junior year, it was made very clear to me that there were status stratuses, right? Like it was a caste system.
Sure.
There were the popular kids.
Of course.
And my school, by the way, was like super competitive. Like, and the amazing thing about it at the time that was different from maybe like, although I don't know, it was sort of similar to a Breakfast Club situation.
Okay.
But are we
talking about high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally high school. There was there was a group of people who were the popular kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most of those people were who you would expect. They'd be like the jocks, the uber jocks. But also in there were like the super brains. Because in my school, like being the valedictorian, you were not a nerd. You were actually like
cool,
a star.
Yeah,
you were cool in your own right. And we had, so in my school, you had to be in at least 2 extracurricular like activities.
Oh,
you had to be in choir or band or a sport, like or like model UN or like debate team,
right?
Something like, and it was usually people were in 2, and there would be like because this school in Indiana was really like I don't know, it was a public school, but it was very sought after. Like people would try to get into this school district because it was known as being this great school.
Sounds like my high school.
And you're right, in T.O. Strong.
Sure.
And if you didn't
Westlake Strong as well,
Strong,
I don't know.
Sure, why not? But here's
Westlake. Why not? Yeah. That's perfect.
People who lived in Carmel were happy to live in Carmel, and people who didn't live in Carmel made jokes about people who lived in Carmel.
Sure.
Carmel housewife jokes were really big.
Oh, perfect.
What does a Carmel housewife make for dinner?
What, John?
Reservations.
Love it.
Yep, that's what it was.
I feel like we had very similar experiences.
We did in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's a Carmel housewife's favorite wine?
What's that, John?
I want a new tennis bracelet. Uh-huh. Yeah, Carmel housewives.
That's great.
Yeah. And I grew up in Carmel, and the school was there, and it was like it was a very like it was a sought after school.
Okay.
So it was the competition was big. It felt like going to kind of like a private school or even a prep school.
Yeah,
kind of.
dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. But I was I just never had the same drives as some of those people. And some of the people in my school have done amazing things.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like to the point where I can't get in touch with them now because they're too important.
That's amazing.
And they're not gonna contact
That's
me.
awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, I forget what the point was. What was I?
It's very competitive.
It's very competitive.
There was a caste system.
Yeah, there was a caste system. So the nice thing about it was that you could attain the highest caste from almost any direction. Like you could get there, and it wasn't all jocks, and
Right.
it wasn't all cheerleaders, right? Like
the arts were also
the arts were
important.
included in that, and like smarts were included.
Scholastics.
Yeah. Although I will say, like, if you were just scholastic, like if you just had good grades, that probably wasn't enough.
Got
you
it.
also needed to be in either choir or theater or band or something else
Got it.
that made you stand out. You
Okay.
had to have a personality as well as being smart.
Ah.
Yeah. So anyway, what I found was I my big thing was theater. Okay. Like
Really?
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Go
That's
figure.
Weird.
Uh-huh.
Where's that coming from?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've said enough times that it started from when I had horrible stage fright when I had to give an oral report,
right.
and then I started doing all of my junior high plays, and then when I went to high school, I auditioned for the high school plays, and I got in there. But what? So that was my thing. The thing that was interesting about theater is that nobody else quite knew how to handle that.
Oh,
Well, because like nobody knew what a good actor was or wasn't, right?
Sure.
Like, you can tell if someone can sing. I mean, like honestly,
That's true.
you can be almost tone deaf and know if that person can sing better than that
That's a good
person.
point.
Yeah. But as like acting, nobody knows. I to this day, it's like I can look at actors and go, that guy is terrible. And other people are like, oh, I really
Amazing.
felt that coming from him. And therefore he's been successful or she's been successful.
Sure.
It's like, yeah. So anyway, I was like sort of an outlier. Like I wasn't really popular, but I also certainly wasn't like an outcast or anything like that. But I did stand up for people who were like less. I've always had a penchant for weirdos because I've always felt like a weirdo. So
Right.
these are my people. So I would frequently defend weirdos and like call other people out for treating weirdos poorly.
That's good.
Thank you. But I learned something my junior year. This has been a long way to get to here, but I learned something my junior year, which was that a lot of the people who were in the highest caste would frequently put people down in order to buoy themselves up, right?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And so what I decided was that I wasn't going to join their ranks and like put other people down to try to make my position higher, but I was going to put down the people who were trying to put me down because I also have a bit of a verbal gift. I can, as long as I'm not too nervous, I can come up with, extemporaneous responses to things that people might say that would be, not too bad.
Sure.
Right.
You have a quick wit.
A bit. Sometimes. Not always. So anyway, it came to pass that there was a young man who was in like I perceived him as being in the upper crust, right? Like the whatever the crowd was. He came at me and he said something to try to put me down. And this is what's funny is I don't remember what it was.
Right.
But I somehow turned it around on him and in a whole crowd of people in a hallway, and they all were, first of all, amazed that I had the balls to speak back to this person
Okay.
because this person had been anointed as, upper crust.
Yeah.
And I had the balls to speak back to this person. And when I did so, he crumbled. Like he absolutely lost it. And it was really obvious that I had won that encounter.
Nice.
So I had won that encounter, and as a result, it didn't so much make people like me as it made some people fear me.
Sure, leave that guy
Yeah,
alone.
don't mess with that guy, because if you try to stand on his shoulders, he might pull you down
Yeah,
with him.
he'll beat you down.
Yeah. So I ended up with this weird status of like not being popular, but being the friend of the underdog.
Cool.
And so like it's exactly, frankly,
good place
where
to
I
be.
wanted to be, but I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
It's a
It
good
wasn't
place
like
to be.
I went there on purpose. But it was, yeah. So I ended up being like the guy I wanted to be. I was like the people who people don't understand,
Right.
they like me, and I like them. They're my weirdos.
Yeah.
And the people who are shallow enough to try to gain status by shitting on other people who they feel like they can get away with it, those people fear me.
Right.
Like that's the best I could possibly be.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I was there for 1 year, my senior
It's
year.
a good, well,
Yeah.
that's a good
Yeah.
place to be.
I liked it.
I feel like if I had, so, when I, freshman year,
Mhm.
I thought I had friends. I thought I was part of the cool crowd
Yeah.
because I had been in junior high.
Right.
And then they got together over the summer break and they kicked me off the island.
Yeah.
And so I was left sort of without a group.
We
freshman
talked
year.
about this a little bit, like that you actually like showed up, still thought you were involved,
Yeah.
and they just stopped talking
They
to you.
they just ignored me.
And when you spoke, they ignored you. This is like, I want to punch every one of them right now.
It's pretty lame.
Yeah.
And so I spent a lot of lunches in the library.
Yep.
I would go just to homeroom in the morning, just go read books and stuff.
Mhm.
And so, but I feel like if I had, because there were some jocks in my group, that
Right.
group that I got kicked out of. If I had, I was always good in sports, but I had to give up sports because my knees were bad. Right? Which we've talked about that as well.
It's funny because then you later played basketball. And
I did.
That led to all kinds of, go figure.
But if I feel like if I had continued sports
Right.
and I had played them in high school,
Yeah.
I probably would have been in that.
You'd have still been accepted.
I would have been worthy of that sort of cool crowd, moniker,
Right.
if you will.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a thing. I wasn't especially good at anything.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, well, why do we need you? So, like, who cares? But yeah, so then, like, I remember years later, I ran into a girl from my high school
Yep.
who was very good at sports and who was a lesbian at the time,
Right.
but was as terrified as I was.
Right.
And
So
it
she
was-
wasn't out in high school.
She was not in high school. I always
Yeah.
kind of thought maybe. Like,
Very
oh,
few lesbians are out in high school. I think more
Well,
gay men are out.
And this was the
but-
90s, so
Yeah.
it was still not cool to be gay.
It-
In fact, it was.
It's not. It was never cool until now. I think now
Exactly.
it might be cool.
kids today.
These kids, they don't know. They don't know.
But I felt like if I had been like her,
Mhm.
I would have been cool. Like
Yeah.
I probably would have been at those parties, hanging out with those people.
Sure.
I don't know that I would have liked it,
Right.
Because
Well, you'd have still been harboring a secret,
for sure,
Yeah.
and I don't know,
and maybe under higher stakes
maybe.
circumstances.
I mean,
than
maybe I
you-
would have
yeah.
made out with some cheerleaders, but
Hey, nice.
who knows,
I never
John?
got
It
to do that.
doesn't matter.
Whatever. It's funny that we both wanted to do that, but didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Freaking cheerleaders.
I know, God.
So unreachable.
Like I hate them, but I
but I love them.
love them at the
Yep.
same time.
Yep.
It's very complicated.
It is.
So I didn't really have a thing.
Hmm.
And so then around sophomore year, I found my nerds.
Right.
It's like, oh, I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
This is great.
Ugh.
It's fantastic.
Thank God.
So I kind of got a little bit of confidence and I
Yep.
became more involved. So I was involved in theater.
Hmm.
I was always just like behind the curtain, right?
Right.
So stage manager, stage
Sure.
crew, whatever.
You were all black.
I did.
Yeah, you
I
were tech.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's the coolest.
It's the best.
Yeah, so I was stage tech. I was on the newspaper. I joined choir, John.
Of course you did.
Couldn't sing.
No.
Still can't.
Well,
But I became more involved.
I don't know that I agree with you, but I don't recall having heard you sing.
There's a reason for that, John.
Okay.
Ask my partner if I can sing. She'll tell you.
I haven't heard her sing either, so I don't know.
She has a lovely voice, John.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yep.
it wasn't until I found a group of people who are like, hey, you're cool
Right.
for the person that you are.
Yep.
And then I felt confident to like, oh, well, then I'm going to try some shit and see what happens. And I had fun in all of those things,
Yeah.
and I was good at all of those things.
Mhm.
And, once I was surrounded by people who like didn't care that, I dressed like a boy or that
Mhm.
like, for whatever reason, like I was different.
Right.
Go figure.
They took it in stride.
They took it in
Yeah.
stride, and not only that, they thought I was cool.
Yep.
God bless them all.
I
Some of them.
still think that,
That's nice.
even though you dress like a boy.
Thanks, John. Anyway,
Yeah.
and so it's funny that like it's not funny. In junior high, to sort of the self-preservation of I was probably not cool to some people. One person in particular who I was best friends with all through elementary school. His name is Scott.
Yeah.
Scotty.
Yeah.
Maybe listens to the podcast.
I might know this guy. This is a smart dude.
He's one of the smartest guys I know.
He's also super eccentric, which
And
is
he's
what they call smart people who are crazy.
And he's also extremely funny.
Yeah. And he's going to be on the show one day.
He is, and
Yeah.
it will be a good day.
Yep.
It's going to be a good day.
It might be a rough edit, but it's going to be a great episode.
I can't
I'll
wait.
tell you that.
And so
Yep.
he and I were very close all through elementary school.
Yep.
And in junior high. And by the way, I hope I'm not upsetting him by saying this. He's also gay.
Oh,
So
I think he's out.
throwing that out there. But we didn't know this at the time, like elementary school.
Right.
You don't know what the fuck's going on.
No.
So we were really, really close. And then in junior high, we kind of started to grow apart,
Okay.
if you will. And he was getting new friends, and I was kind of staying with the older friends. And I feel like that friend group that eventually would ghost me, they ghosted him. And I didn't say a damn thing about it.
Oh.
And I feel terrible about that.
When they came for Scott, you said nothing.
I said nothing.
And when they came for you, there was no one who spoke up for you.
No, and I deserved it.
Well,
And I still feel bad about it.
okay.
And he might be hearing that for the first time here.
Okay.
But what goes around comes around. In any event,
I feel like I cannot comment upon this.
we went to high school. We went on to high school.
Right?
So he and I went through elementary school, junior high, high school
Yep.
together. And so did Jason Bender, who was a guest on this podcast.
He was. May the luck be with you.
Indeed.
Mhm.
In any event, Scott flourished in high school. He was in band. He was in the drum line.
Was Scott out in high school?
Not at all. I don't think so. Nobody
Okay.
was out in our high school.
Here's the thing. I can't imagine, having only met Scott later in life,
Yeah,
I can't imagine him ever being in.
he was in.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
didn't find out that Scott was gay until after high school.
Okay. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
We hit it. We all hit it very well.
Sure.
I
Well,
mean,
you had,
I
you felt you
think
had
I
to.
did, but I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I didn't.
Okay.
You had to because it was survival.
Right. Right.
In any event, he went on to be. He had a great friend group and support system in band.
Right.
I had a great support system in all my nerds.
Mm-hmm.
And then we reconnected after high school. It's interesting that we both we're both gay.
Right.
We had gravitated towards each other in elementary school. We grew apart, and then now we're still friends. We both have partners.
Yep.
And it's just interesting how it's not a coincidence that we kind of that we were so close at
Sure.
one point. I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can I tell you now where I was saying that like things don't always follow a narrative
Please tell me.
storyline? The young man who said something nasty to me and I turned it around on him.
Yes.
It later turned out that he was gay. He was closeted.
Hmm.
He never came out. And unfortunately, because of the age that we were at the time that we lived, he eventually contracted HIV and eventually died of the thing. And so while in my mind for many years, I felt like I was so brave to talk back to that guy, he was also just out of fear trying to protect his place in things and not living up to his truth. And so it just goes to show you, no matter what story you hear, the stories don't really begin and they don't really have endings. It's all a continuum. And it made me feel really bad for this person. I didn't feel bad for what I did because
No,
in fact, I was defending myself and like striking out at what I felt like was, unwarranted aggression, which it was, but it was coming from a place where he was trying to do he was trying to maintain his position
right
in the order.
He was probably terrified every day of his life.
And I had no idea.
Yeah, in high school, but that he would be sort of outed.
Yep.
That's not a great feeling, man.
No.
That's a horrible way to live. That sucks.
I can't even imagine. And like to have ended up going to your end, never actually coming out.
That's horrible.
And to die of the disease that was once called the gay plague. I mean, that's
horrible.
Yeah. And yeah. I don't know that he ever lived a day outside of the closet. And I feel really, really bad for him. Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Yay. This is a funny podcast.
We got to end. There's got to be a funny story. We got to have some sort of laugh. Because now would be the time.
Now would be the time. So
okay,
I'm sure you have one of those lined up in the chamber. Right, Kat?
So.
Yeah.
This one time. So I thought I was pretty deep, John.
Yeah.
I thought I was fucking deep. And I saw people for who they were.
Yeah.
And my senior year, either junior or senior year.
Yep.
I decided, John, I was going to tell people I was going to tell people what was going on.
Oh, you're going to show them what's up.
So I
tell them how it is.
I created, I don't know if you'd call it a zine. It was a document.
It was a document. In what medium did this document find its way to people?
I wrote a page or two, and then I went to my dad's office.
And you photocopied
made some
it.
Copies.
Yeah. But you were not, it's not old, you're not old enough to have mimeographed them. You actually Xeroxed them.
It was a Xerox machine.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it was the size of a Buick,
right?
The machine,
of course,
but it was not a mimeograph.
No,
we still probably had them in high school.
Oh, any page you had that was purple?
A Ditto machine? Is that?
Ditto.
I think
Ditto mimeograph.
Yeah, and then it would smell really good.
It smells. Totally sniff that.
That's very much like a science class thing. I feel like a lot of the science class material was a mimeograph.
I mean, anything that was like a printed sheet back then, it would be purple ink, and I don't know why.
It was purple.
Mimeograph
totally right.
was always purple.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, this was not purple. It was black and white.
Right, because it was Xerox.
It was Xerox, and so I wrote all kinds of stuff. And it was anonymous.
Oh, nice.
And it was like
you and Jonathan Swift. Right?
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Anyways, it was like sort of paragraphs or columns of small pieces.
Right. Much like what you read on the poetry episode, perhaps?
A little more coherent.
Oh, okay. So this is... now I'm disappointed you didn't bring this to the show.
I don't think it exists. But it was more of like a nonfiction. It wasn't like poetry. It wasn't prose.
Okay.
It was just like, hey, you guys are all a bunch of dummies. And you think, like, it was a whole thing. Like, I was
I love it. You were calling them out.
I was calling people out.
Yeah, you were.
And for some reason, I told a friend who wasn't my best friend, who wasn't Sarah at the time, and I was with Sarah.
Yep.
She was a good friend, but it wasn't for some reason I felt safer telling her about it
than your secret girlfriend.
Than like my secret girlfriend, who was like, I told her. I don't think I ever told her about this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made all these copies, and I told this friend, I said, I'm going to do this thing. Because I had to tell somebody, and she's like, "Are you really? Like, oh my God, what are you going to do? Like, I'm going to sneak on a campus over the weekend, and I'm going to make a bunch of these copies. I'm going to put them into all the lockers in the quad
through the vents in the yeah.
And she's like,
you were happy Harry Hard-On.
She's like, oh my God, like this is a big deal.
Yeah,
like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Like, let me know when you're going to do it. I'm like, okay, cool. I never did it.
Oh my God, I'm so disappointed right now.
I know.
Kat.
I lost my gumption. I was so scared because what if I got caught?
I wanted you to be Christian Slater
in Pump Up the Volume.
Pump Up the Volume.
Yeah, no.
Happy Harry Hard On.
I was probably inspired by that.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have the guts to do
Yeah.
it. Because
Could
oh my
have been
God,
the hero.
what if I got caught? That would have been. I feel like that would have destroyed me.
Here's
would have
the
been
reality.
destroyed.
If you'd been caught,
Yeah.
it would not have been a big deal.
I'm sure nobody would have cared.
If you'd not have
Like,
been
who
caught,
cares?
you'd be legendary. People would still be. You'd be going to your high school reunion,
Oh.
and the people would be talking.
Hey.
Did we ever find out
Damn
who
it.
wrote that shit, calling us all out on our bullshit? Because it was so right. They were so smart. Whoever wrote that.
God, I should have done it.
Oh, you shoulda.
I did not.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
I got a lot of those. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah. We should have an episode of coulda,
Coulda,
woulda,
woulda,
shoulda.
shoulda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyway,
I think the no sex episode was kind of one of those.
Coulda, woulda,
Coulda,
shoulda.
woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Boom. Anyway, I feel like we have an episode here.
We do
It's,
somehow.
somehow we ended up. We it took a very circuitous path
It
to get
did.
here, but we're there.
It did. We are
Yep.
here.
Yep.
Yay us.
Yay us! We survived high school.
We did.
We did.
John,
Yes.
I'm glad you made it.
I'm glad you made it, Kat.
Thank you, John.
Because if you had not, I wouldn't know you, and this is one of the joys of my life. Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
a bummer if we had
Yeah.
never become friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to share their high school shoulda, woulda, couldas,
They should email us at mymistakepodcast@gmail.com.
what? Huh?
Or they could contact us on our Facebook page.
They could.
Which is
My Mistake, the podcast
on Facebook.
on Facebook.
Yeah. Or they could tweet at us at mymistakes17.
Indeed.
Indeed.
What about the Instagram, John?
The Instagram, they can find us there at My Mistake Podcast.
That's fantastic.
It is, isn't it?
I also would like to say this. If you're listening to this podcast
Yes.
and you do not subscribe to us yet on
Yeah.
your platform of choice,
Yes.
take a moment of your time.
And
you're
change
very
that.
listen, you have a very busy day. There's a lot going on.
We understand that.
You're trying to get to A to B as quickly and fastly.
Fastly.
Is that a word,
Yes.
John?
I mean, no, but
Great.
yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Take one moment out of your day,
Mm-hmm.
open up your little podcast app, whatever that may be,
Whatever it is.
and subscribe.
Yep.
We'd love it if you did. And you don't even have to worry about it.
No.
And we'll just show up in your feed like every Wednesday.
And if you want to be a little bit extra about it,
Oh,
you could give us a 5-star rating on your. I mean, this is
I mean,
totally extra.
that'd be great.
Yeah, we would love it. It would be awesome, but you don't have to.
You don't have to.
But if you wanted to,
That'd be
if
great.
you really think, I mean, because we'll notice. This is the beauty. We will see it. We will know, and I will text Kat and be like, "Hey, Kat, somebody gave us a 5-star.
Exactly.
And
you will be seen.
Yeah.
You will be heard.
You will be heard. You will be noticed.
Yes.
We will be aware of your existence.
So, that'd be
So
great.
do that.
That'd be great if you did that.
It would be
Anyway.
awesome. And if you really,
Oh.
if you're feeling super extra,
Oh my gosh.
you could even write a review.
Oh, don't be crazy, John.
I know. It's a lot to hope for, but like in the Make-A-Wish Foundation kind of realm of things that I might ask for.
Yeah.
I'm not dying, but if I were,
Oh.
would you do it? And if you would, if I was dying, why won't you do it when I'm not dying?
Yeah. Hey.
That's the real question.
yeah. Really? Does John have to be dying for
Do I have
you
to be
want
dying
to
for
do
you
that?
to write a review for us?
Like, wow.
Wow. Okay. I guess it's really great to be you.
Wow. We really turned a corner.
We did, didn't we? I'm proud of us, I think.
I think we should just stop.
We
right
should stop
there.
while we're behind. And yeah, fuck Mike Pence.
Spike Mike. Huh?
Fight Buck Pence.
Spike Mike Pence?
Sure.
Or
FM.
FMP. That's easier.
Yeah, it is. FMP.
Yeah. Come in, do your thing.
Yeah.
We'll just roll with it.
Rock it out.
Fuck it. Who cares?
Fuck yeah.
God damn it.
God damn it.